What is going on YouTube? Hit up making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as XRP to US dollar. We're also going to be looking at DueDEX as well as the current coin market cap. Specifically in today's episode, I want to talk about the recent bull run that we're starting to see within cryptocurrency. As you guys can clearly tell, XRP is making a nice little getaway all the way up to its moving average closer to 20 cents, which is an incredible, jump that we're starting to see within a lot of these cryptos. But my main concern is this going to be lasting, and is this going to carry us into higher levels as we approach some bigger resistances on the upside? You can see a lot of the cryptos are starting to hit kind of like roadblocks, you could say, and this goes for all of them. It happened on XRP hitting its moving average, Ethereum on its yearly resistance, Bitcoin on a downtrend, as well as Litecoin hitting a long-term resistance, as well as its moving average. So I do want to show you guys all of these roadblocks, and then we will jump into some other technical analysis. Lastly, the S&P 500 is doing incredible. I mean, it's up and it's doing really well, and we'll see, where it goes, because right now this is a massive recovery, and I'd be very shocked if we immediately corrected lower. But otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications. If you try and thumbs up, make sure to follow me on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial. This way, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can just head over there, shoot me a DM relevant to cryptocurrency, the stock market, or YouTube, and I'll make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, let's jump into today's video. Alright guys, so yesterday on my channel I made a video basically discussing why XRP Ripple are dropping, and this is how low we'll go. This was mainly in reference to the fact that we were kind of hitting resistances. The couple days prior we were actually using, supports. You can see that we were actually breaking bullish, and I was capitalizing and showing you guys the movements to the upside that we were starting to see. But I did say the past couple of days, and I am still fairly bearish on the markets in total, and I think that goes without saying as I show you guys the rest of these, these charts. You can see on the 4-hour for XRP really quickly, we are extremely overbought. That's just one sign. Zooming out, you can see on the daily that we're clearly hitting this moving average, and I know we are outside of this resistance in this downtrend, but it's happened in the past, and I apologize that the rest of this isn't loading in. Not too sure why, but we've clearly hit resistances before, and we've clearly broken ever so slightly above it. Now, I mean, it's definitely possible to adjust these and make them a little bigger, but ultimately when we look at the weekly charts, you can see for the most part this is accurate. We have these wicks in the past, we have these wicks here, but we normally close below the resistance. So with 4 days and 13 hours left within XRP's weekly candle, we'll see whether or not this is able to close a strong candle outside the downtrend, or if it's able to, or if it's most likely going to, wick back down below it like it's done every single time in the past. And if it does, it confirms that we are still headed in a bear market. If it, vice versa happens and we actually start breaking out, then it will confirm that we are potentially starting to see a break to the outside, which would be, incredible. Otherwise, it doesn't really leave us much room with us trading at about now 64 on the relative strength indicators. We don't really have that much more, push to the upside, but it is definitely still possible, and there is definitely some things to consider. Now, let's talk about Bitcoin, then we'll do Ethereum and Litecoin. You can see Bitcoin as well is having a little bit of a hiccup right now, having a little bit of trouble. You can see Bitcoin is within what I thought was a bull flag right here, which would ultimately lead to a higher pull to the upside. But Bitcoin is hitting its resistance. We can clearly see the downtrend here with 1, 2, 3, 4 confirmations now of resistance as well as our support. Ultimately, I'm waiting for us to get funneled into this gap right here. I want us to close and finish off this candle wick, this, symmetrical triangle, bull flag, whatever you want to call it. Ultimately, I want to see it close this, because there's definitely some very interesting movements. I believe in the wholesome of the long-term trends of Bitcoin right now. We're fairly bearish due to the fact that if you literally, like I said, I always reference this, but if you look at this market right here, you can see it looks like we've hit a kind of a roadblock at the top here. Notice we haven't been able to go higher. I mean, that gives us a sure sign that we're not heading up anymore, because we've clearly seen massive movements to the upside, but we get grabbed and we're not allowed to move forward even with these massive wicks at this white resistance downtrend. The same thing applies here. Why didn't we head higher up? Why did the pattern break right here? Well, that's because this is an extremely strong downtrend and an extremely strong resistance, and it's not letting the coin break up. And that to me is concerning in regards to people wanting the price to go higher. It is extremely concerning for me for the price to go higher. So I really have to see a massive movement of volume, bullish volume, for me to really switch out of gear and think about Bitcoin and a more bullish long-term aspect than a bearish one. Because right now we're capped. We have tried day in and day out for ever since, I would say, back in 2017 to break through this downtrend and this uptrend. And you can clearly see neither one has given up. You can see in the past 3 years of movement and then some, we have not been able to break through. This ends in 2021. And you can see every time we test the top, we break down. We see resistance and pull back, and vice versa. At the bottom, this is a bottom call, and then we buy in as we anticipate movements to the upside. But I do believe that we've hit the top here, and the slight movement we might have to the upside is not really that beneficial. We move from like 9,100 up to 9,300, and we may go all the way up to like 94, but that is about it. Sure, you can be a high risk trader and capitalize off movements like that, but I don't think it's going to last, and I do think we're going to pull back down very soon. Also, expect to see us correct lower. I do believe we're going to break out of this pennant flag. I'd be shocked if we break bullish, but if we don't and we start to correct lower, good chance we're going to hit this moving average, and we're going to see a collapse from 93 all the way down to about, I'd say, 8,700 fairly quickly. Otherwise, moving on to the other cryptos, let's look at it from this chart as well. I love to compare it to the DueDEX Bitcoin when we do Bitcoin, technical analysis. You can clearly see that there is a bottom support, top resistance, and it's in some sort of downwards funnel, inverse funnel. And ultimately, it shows rejection week after week after week after week. You can see it right here, but 1, 2, 3. We could go all the way as far as here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 months of bear market, 10 months of hitting a resistance, 10 months capped below $10,000. We are not able to break through. And you can notice that this is the longest time we've actually been trending up here. And what I notice is the longer we hang out at a resistance and the longer we hang out at a support, the opposite happens. So the fact that we're stuck stagnant here from a bullish run, I really do anticipate that it will be a rejection and a collapse in price will form. Very easy to take advantage of that. DueDEX is linked in the description down below. They're giving up to a $70 sign-up bonus. I highly recommend checking it out. But this is going to give you the opportunity to short. We have a ton of people signing up to DueDEX and a ton of people cashing out, given the fact that they can now short Bitcoin. Use post-onlys, use market orders, limit orders, whatever it is. I do believe we are getting ready to drop in price very quickly. We're going to see a big pump to the downside, a big correction in volume to the downside. I can easily see us retesting. I'd say the first stop on the drop is probably 73.50. I think that's going to be the bottom that we hit before we see any more movements, but I believe this is going to show a huge sign of rejection. Obviously, all of my specific my specific trades that I make within Bitcoin and crypto are held on my Patreon, which is also in the description down below. Highly recommend you check it out. We have up to, I think, 120 something people in my Patreon group, which is actively growing. It's a great community to learn with, like-minded people. And, I highly recommend you check it out. Lastly, to look at the other cryptos like Litecoin and Ethereum, you can even see on these why I'm still bearish. And I really hope it stands out to you guys. But even on a coin like this, that has been, once again, in a massive downtrend. This is years now. We're going on years, ever since 2018, 2017. Resistance. Resistance hit it and fell. Resistance hit it and fell. It happens over and over again. Volume is now stagnant, no movement, trading at about 58 on the relative strength indicators. We are now hitting the moving average as anticipated and a downtrend that has been on this coin for years. That has proven time in and time again that we have not been able to break through here. So, the likelihood we break through, we'll be on it, but I am leaning more towards a bearish move. And I believe, this might even be a great time to short right now, as we are probably going to be rejected from this price level right here. And then lastly, for Ethereum, and we'll look at the S&P 500 again. I think Ethereum is also being rejected. You can clearly see resistance up here. Massive amounts of resistance. Boom, 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 and boom. We're starting to correct lower. You can clearly see a drop in price. You can clearly see the uptrend resistance right here. And there's a fairly high chance, at least that I would think, of breaking bearish and correcting down to the moving average right here. I really do think that this is going to reject and fall lower as we climb the uptrend, battle the resistance. Most likely rejection is to come, and we will fall lower. Lastly, S&P 500, guys. I mean, what is there to say? We are doing a killer job, a stellar job. You know, jumping in price, moving up to the upside. You know, I've got rumors that people are thinking it's not going to last, that there's going to be an immediate collapse in the economy, very similar to the 08-09 market crash. But notice the massive drop we had here, which took a very long time compared. You know, I think with the economy and the way things are moving today, I think we are in a very, and I said this weeks before, and even during the drop, I said this is going to be a very rapid drop. This is our life, you know, everyone is so quick to move on, so quick to judge, so quick to change opinions, quick to buy stuff. You know, it's very impulse. And I think that same thing is reflected now within the price. We see all the fads that are so popular, but you can see the drop took about, I would say, 489 days. We were in a bear market back in 08-09 for 459 days. And for us to get back to that same price level took us, you know, up to this where we started from. It took us about, 3, 6, 9, 12, almost 5 years, 4 or 5 years to get out of what we buried ourselves into. But notice the quick, rapid drop in price that's happening now. The massively overstrung out, rapid drop that I would say took literally 60 days on the dime. We're back up at the same price level in, the same month we were at the same price level in 30 days. I'd say within the last 3 months, we're back at it. We're back up, back retesting it in 3 months. It's incredible. It's quick. It was expected. And honestly, I think it makes sense for this fast recovery. But obviously, let me know down in the comments what you think. Otherwise, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, follow me on Twitter, CryptoVOfficial, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.